friends. We're back today with another how-to video, and this time we are in the restaurant and we are going to learn how to refill items that we might see if we work in a fast food restaurant at like a counter where people can get their cups, straws, napkins, condiments. So here we go. All right. When we are assigned to refill this part of the restaurant, we need to follow our restaurant refill checklist. Okay, so we're just going to go right down, starting at the top, and the first item on our list to refill are the cups. So in our restaurant, our cups are located right back here. Now, instead of sizes, we have 3 different colors. So it's important, no matter if we're refilling by size or if we're refilling by color, that we make sure the right ones are going in the correct place. And all of our extra items are kept down here in the cabinet, and there's a picture down here to help us. So I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to take out the cups because that's the first thing on my list. My container is labeled with the item, so I know that that's what I'm looking for, and it even has a label down on the shelf too, so we know when we're done where to put it back. All right, so my first cup I'm going to refill are the green ones. Now, I'm going to put everything that I have in my extras for the cups right where they go. So I'm going to start with the green. And even though, if you can see here, I'll move it a little closer for us. Even though I still have blue and purple cups on here, I'm going to refill them as well. So I'm going to take my blue ones and I am going to set them right there. And finally my purple cups, take the whole stack, put them here. And then I need to make sure that this is right where it was, right where I found it. So there we go. So those are the cups. I'm going to put my container right back on the shelf where it belongs so that the next person knows where to find it. The next item on our list are the straws. So here is our straw container. All right, it has a top, and when it's closed, it needs to sit all the way on it like that. So I'm going to go look for my straw container in my cabinet, and I'm going to pull it out. Now, to refill the straws, I open both the containers. This one just lifts up. It's got a little knob right here. And now you have to be careful because if you lift it all the way up, the straws that are in there, if there's any left, are going to fall right out. So I'm going to kind of keep it halfway. I'm going to take my straws, and I am just going to set them in the silver part of the container, and then kind of grab them here, bunch them together so that when I close my lid, all of my straws are in the container. Okay, I'm going to close this, put this back, make sure that my container of straws is right where it belongs. Next item on my list is napkins. So here's my napkin basket. It's got some napkins in it, but I need to make sure that it is all the way full. So I'm going to take my container of napkins, neatly take them out of here, and make sure that my napkins are all filled to the top of the basket. Okay, if I have any left over, I close my container and I put it back. All right, going down my list, I have my plastic silverware. All of our silverware is in this container, and each one of my silverware baskets, pick them up and move them closer here for us to check out, are labeled with what goes in each basket. So I have this one that says fork, this one that says spoon, and the last one are for my knives. So I'm going to open up my container of silverware, and I am going to sort all of these according to what it is. Now, it's very important that when we're handling either this silverware that's going to go in our baskets or silverware if we're rolling them into napkins, that we do not touch the part that goes into the mouth. So on the spoon, it would be this round part. On the forks, it would be the twines. And the knife, we want to make sure we grab by the handle, not the part that cuts the food. All right, so I am just going to gather up all of my spoons to start, making sure that I'm not grabbing them by the tops. And when I have them, I'm going to place them neatly in here. I want to make sure that they're all facing the same direction and I'll hold it up here so you can see. I want to make sure that they're all facing the same direction and that all of the spoon part that holds the food, they're nested in one another so that it makes the basket nice and neat. All right, next for my forks. Again, the same way that I did my spoons, I'm going to kind of set them together so that they all fit together, making sure that I'm holding them by the handle, not touching the part that's going to touch our food. When I have all of my forks together, I'm going to set them in the fork basket. Then I'm going to do the same with the knives. We save them for last. They're the easiest. We just gather them up and we can place them in the container for the knives. I'm going to put back my container underneath my shelf. Then I'm going to put my silverware back on the counter. I have to make sure that I match up the picture to what silverware is in the basket. All right, moving down my list, I have my condiments. Now, normally we think of condiments as ketchup, mustard, relish, things that we put on top of something else. But in this case, we also have sugar. So let's start with that. So I have two baskets here for my sugar. One is pink and the other one is blue. And you notice I have two kinds of sugar here, pink and blue. So I am just not going to take a handful out and plop it in my basket. That's not going to be neat. When I'm working at a restaurant, people expect to find the items neat. So making sure, double check that I'm stacking my pink ones. I'm just going to make sure that all of my packets are going in the same direction like this, and just very carefully set them in so that it looks nice and neat. All right, how many do you put in there? Well, enough to make the basket full. We just don't want to put one or two in there because then it's not going to be enough for the customers at the restaurant. All right, so my container is full. I'm going to make sure that I set it right down on top of the thing that says sugar. And I can't forget that I also have the blue packets. So I'm going to make sure that I'm stacking them neatly. And if it helps, you can also lie the container down on its side so that when you stack them, it's easy to get them all lined up like that. All right, so I'm going to keep taking them, making sure that I make a nice stack before I place them into my container. I want to make sure that my hands are dry while I'm doing this, otherwise the sugar is going to get sticky and it's going to, well, if my hands were wet, it would make the packaging wet, which would make the sugar sticky. Nobody wants sticky sugar to put in their coffee or on their beverages. Okay. So now that they're all lined up, nice and neat, I can put this right here. I can put my sugar back. And remember, I said condiments were also ketchup and mustard. So I have my two baskets. One says mustard. The other says ketchup. I'm going to take my container with the same label, ketchup, and I'm going to refill the container here. Very carefully, just like I did with the sugar, I'm going to want to make this neat. I'm not going to just want to throw everything inside the basket. Okay, I want to make sure that everything looks nice and neat. Okay, I'm going to put that container back, put my ketchups right on my counter, and I have the mustard left. Here's my mustard container, matches the picture on a basket. And then I am going to place them into my basket, again, nice and neatly, so that customers have something nice to look at. It's messy, and it makes a restaurant kind of look unkept or not tidy. Everyone wants to eat in a clean restaurant. All right, so all of my all of my mustards are neatly in my mustard basket. I set this right up there, close my lid, and then I'm going to do a double check. I go over my checklist, making sure that I refilled everything on there. I got the cups, straws, napkins, plastic silverware, condiments. Need to make sure that all of my containers are put back neatly in my cabinet. Do a double check, and then I'm finished with that job. See you next time.